Hey guys, and welcome back to Devil Dagger. As you can see, we have a new arrival. We have one nomad that has been attracted by our recent upgrades to our kingdom. And as promised in the comments, I told this person that the very first nomad that we would have would be named after him or her. This is Karons, so let's check out Karons and see what are Karons? Not really sure. Let's see. There's not anything that this gnome is particularly skilled at. Pretty decent doctoring skill. Construction's pretty good. Let's see. Gem cutting. You know what? I think this person would be perfect to replace the temporary crafts gnome that I created, because that was actually supposed to be our arms dealer, so we'll put them back, and our new nomad will become our permanent crafts gnome. So, Karons, welcome to the kingdom, and I do hope that you generate quite a bit of worth for us so that we can trade with the merchant more frequently. It's up to you, buddy. And please don't get attacked by the monitor lizard on your way in. Just watching Karons. Alright, making his way in. Excellent. Alright, in between episodes, a very short time in between episodes, I went ahead and set up the designations for the bedrooms to set up the floors. A little bit of work has been done, not very much. I'm using engraved floors for the doorway just because, I figured the doorways deserve a little bit of higher class. The floors, I was stuck between going with the smooth stone floors or the block floors, and ultimately ended up going with the block floors just because the hallways are going to be smooth stone floors because the gnomes frankly walk there more. I really wanted the gnomes' bedrooms to be fancier, but again, it comes down to the fact that each block is worth exactly the same amount, so just to tie in with the theme of the walls, we went with the block floors. I did decide to replace some of the stone in our crypt with dirt. That way we could pull a little bit more stone. We did a little bit more digging. Just added 2 more supports. Not too much because it looks like the stone is running out on this level, unfortunately. So I will probably be replacing the stone on this level with dirt just to pull some more stone in, because unfortunately we're not getting very much stone at the levels that we're currently digging. But I don't want to dig down too deep, because once you start digging down deeper, you start running the risk of skeletons, beetles, spiders that will swarm your fort, and we are vastly under-equipped to handle such a threat from the depths of the earth right now. It's more likely that we could handle a few more goblins, but because of the way that beetles have the exterior, and we don't have any weapons, it would be very hard for us to combat them. Not to mention our gnomes would actually have to come from the front gate to the mine, and depending on how deep they had to move, it could take quite a while to get down there. So we're gonna ignore that for right now. We're just gonna replace the stone in this level, try and get some more from the area, and hopefully that'll be enough to actually finish off these bedrooms, because I really would like to start moving some gnomes in, but I am going to wait until all these bedrooms are filled up. And with the addition of Karons to the fort, we actually have 16 gnomes, even though we did lose Dumbledano. But we're back in spring, so that means all of our crops are starting to grow again, which is nice because our food levels were drastically low. Only had 16 food ready to go. We even ran out of grain from our wheat fields, which is a bit unsettling, to be honest. We're probably going to need to expand that. So as soon as they start doing some work down in the mine replacing this stone, I will be setting up the wheat field. I'm not too keen on moving the rest of the fruit around, just for the simple fact that I do not want the food stocks getting high enough to where we attract mants. Because, well, as you know, we are doing pretty well against the goblins who attack us, but trying to take on mants, which have that thick outer layer of protection, it's just not gonna work well for us. I'm gonna go ahead and create a bed for our ambassador from, what was it called? The Tormented Land. That name. No wonder everybody's leaving and coming here. Once our kingdom worth starts getting up here, we will actually discover, quote-unquote, new kingdoms to trade with. And the reason why we want that is because the new kingdoms can actually be a log kingdom, a mining kingdom, and those will specialize in the types of products that their merchants are willing to trade to us. So a merchant city-state basically just offers everything. They don't have a specialization. They don't want for a specific item. But mining kingdoms, they actually trade or give you higher worth towards tools and bandages, and I believe food as well. The log kingdom, I believe, is the same way, and I'm not sure about the bandages, but I know that food usually goes pretty well with the log kingdom. It's been a while since I played Gnomoria in terms of trading with other kingdoms. Usually I just kind of stick to myself and wait for the goblin hordes to pour over me and destroy my kingdom, which isn't always a bad thing. Oh my gosh, we're starting to pick up a lot of stone down here. I really wish our gnomes would go back and replace all this, or gather up all this stone so that we don't have the threat of a stone golem. Because although a stone golem with marble probably isn't going to be too hard to deal with, I would much rather have combat at our front gate than have combat down here in the mines. But it is nice that we're starting to get a little bit more stone, because our stone stockpiles were looking rather slim there for a little while. We still haven't actually got the stone up to our stockpile where our mason and miner could actually utilize it. But the bedrooms are coming along nicely. We actually have one that's fully done, so that's nice. But I am going to leave that for right now, because I don't want to give them too many more jobs, because then they'll try and get everything done at the same time and it just won't get done. So there's really no point in giving them too much else to do. I will put a cut in here and wait for our bedrooms to be finished being floored, or if we have a battle, I'll bring you guys back. Alright, see you in a little bit. Hey guys, and welcome back. Looks like we got an invasion coming, as you can tell by the music that is currently playing. I did go ahead and set some of our gnomes to forage for some more food, because we were actually having a few gnomes that were passing out from exhaustion just because they didn't have any food. So right now we're just waiting to see what the goblins decide to do, if they do decide to attack, or if they're still bugged and they're just kind of hanging out over here at the tunnel. Alright, you pesky goblins. We're ready for you. Oh, also, during the break, I noticed that our ambassador now has a demand for a room worth of 600, which isn't too bad because I do have a bed set to be made for him, and his room worth is currently at 562, so that 4-poster bed should be enough to put him over the limit, but after that, we're gonna have to look at expanding his room and making a better solution for him, basically, because he's not gonna be happy for very long if we keep pushing our kingdom worth up there, which, like I said, creating these personalized bedrooms will have that effect on your kingdom worth. It'll, before you know it, you'll be at 32,000 and getting goblin waves that you're not prepared for. And now the music is completely gone, so it looks like the goblins are still bugged. Yeah, they're still just hanging out here at the tunnel. I'm not really sure why. It doesn't make much sense to me. They're not doing much of anything. I mean, if they want to hang out there, that's perfectly fine with me. No harm, no foul. Y'all just coming to scout, that's cool too. But our bedrooms are almost done. We did go down into the mines and replace the stone floors with dirt. That way we could actually get more stone, because we were sitting at 55 raw stone. Now we have 339. But the good thing about raw stone is that no matter how much you collect, it doesn't add anything to your kingdom value, as far as I remember anyway. Yeah, there's the raw marble, or any raw stone for that matter, has a worth of 0, so you could stockpile hundreds of thousands of the stuff and it wouldn't have any worth whatsoever. Now the stone blocks, on the other hand, those actually do have some worth to them, so you want to try and keep that value as low as possible, unless you're actually, trying to tempt fate and see how many goblins your kingdom can actually handle. Which, I mean, at some point we might actually start doing once we have engineering set up and we can start creating trap systems for the goblins to have to run through. I wouldn't mind a gauntlet to see how well the goblins can handle traps. Some blade traps, some spike traps, some pitfall traps. At some point we might even include a trickler system, which some of you may not know what a trickler system is, but head on over to the forums and you can see quite a number of different trickler systems that have been created by some different players. I find them pretty entertaining, especially when you can have it set on an endless cycle, basically, where the goblins are running, trying to get into the fort, but they can't, and archers are just constantly sitting there taking them out. It's pretty hilarious. And some of the last got about, 12, 13, 18 more blocks that we need. And of course our mason is asleep. But now we're starting to get some more food, which is nice. But I am going to go ahead and tell them to fell these trees, because I know that we are going to be using this entire area for the most part. We'll go ahead and set up a farm, and we'll start right here. We'll fix that. That's 12. And in order to have enough food for our yaks, we need, because we want 12 yaks, so 12 by 12 should be enough, if I'm not mistaken, to supply the yaks with enough food throughout the entire year, no matter what. But what I would like to do is actually increase that to 12 by 13, just so that we have a little bit of extra. 1, for trading, and 2, to generate some more grain. And if we need to create mattresses, obviously we have to have straw, so it's nice to have some backup supply ready to go. Unfortunately, when I remove this designation for this dirt stockpile, it's going to quickly become a nuisance if a dirt goblin decides that he wants to rear his or her ugly head, or its ugly head, I guess, because a golem really doesn't have a sex to speak of. Alright, still waiting on that mattress, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, looks like another honey badger is... Oh, No, please don't fight the honey badger, guys. I thought I took care of that. And defend gnomes, form attack orders. Huh. We're gonna turn off pursue lost targets right now. That way they don't actually chase after things for the most part. For right now, I think the best thing to do is to create a stockpile back here for dirt. And the only reason I'm going to do this is so that this stockpile can actually pull the dirt from the main stockpile that we currently have. And this is called dirt 2. Huh. We'll call this dirt stockpile. That way we actually know the difference between the two. And pull from dirt. And hopefully we can get that actually going. Oh my. We actually have a goblin tunnel right in the middle of our base. I think we need to deconstruct that immediately. That's no good whatsoever. That means that the goblins will show up right at our door. We need that deconstructed immediately, guys. Because the next time that the goblins show up, they'll just walk right through our front door. Man, that's crazy. Alright, and now we can finish setting up the farm. Well, at least where the trees were, anyway. Our farmers will get to work creating that. Now, it is going to send our kingdom worth a little bit higher. But just with wheat, it shouldn't be too bad. I can't remember if grain actually adds anything to the kingdom worth. But it looks like our bedrooms are all set up. So we will tell them to move all of the beds inside here. And just for defense sake, we're gonna have all the gnomes facing the doorway just in case they do have any enemies that decide to invade the fort. They can quickly see the enemies enter through the front of their bedroom and take care of the situation if at all possible. And we will also set up some torches because unfortunately when I initially set them up, I didn't realize that I was going to mine the walls, so it took the torches down as well. And do this other side here. And that should be enough. Probably going to need some doors, and right now we'll just use pine doors for all the gnomes. We'll probably be replacing these doors at some point with some better doors like marble doors, or possibly even color for each gnome if we really wanted to, based on the stock of stone that we have in supply. But that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. We're just waiting on these final bits of furniture to be moved in, some torches to be created, some doors to be created, but our gnomes officially have bedrooms now, which is very nice, honestly. Let's see. Still haven't created the mattress. Bit disappointed. We're gonna go ahead and remove this farm. The wheat that is planted here will actually keep growing, so we won't lose that wheat. We'll just have to forage for it, basically, which just means to harvest it. Everything in the mine looks pretty good. We got some more stone down here that we can take if we need it, but for right now, sitting on top of almost 300 stone, we're pretty good. Our kingdom worth's at 17,400 with everything built, which is much higher than I would prefer it to be right now, but what are you gonna do? From everybody here in Devil Dagger, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hope to see you in the next. Y'all have a great one.